Hi Pickleballers and Pickle Techie community. Today we're examining the Ace of Hearts, a paddle that introduces what Ace calls a third gen or Gen 3.5 technology with their new OmniCore construction. This is not a sponsored review. We purchased this paddle based on our own funding. All opinions are based on our extensive testing. What makes the Heart intriguing is Ace's approach to third-gen construction. While many manufacturers are pushing the boundaries of power with their foam implementation, Ace has taken a more measured approach. The OmniCore technology delivers a unique playing experience that sets it apart from traditional third-gen paddles like, the Eula 3S or the Nexus Pro Star, which are both elongated shape. Let's talk about performance characteristics. The Heart demonstrates less raw power that you might think or expect from a Gen 3 paddle, but this isn't necessarily a negative thing. For players seeking a more controlled approach to the modern game, this paddle offers interesting possibilities. The sweet spot, while not as expansive or massive as other elongated Gen 3 paddles like 3S Eulas, this still provides good feedback and consistency. One aspect I particularly appreciate is the paddle's maneuverability. Despite it being elongated, the lighter weight makes it surprisingly agile in hand battles and quick exchanges. However, I found adding some weight towards the throw area significantly enhances stability without compromising its maneuverability. Design-wise, Ace has taken an elegant and minimalist approach. The playing card aesthetic with the simple heart motif creates a clean, professional look. The grip, it's particularly noteworthy because of its squared off profile that provides solid feel with just enough give to remain comfortable during extended play. As you squeeze more, it gives a little bit of softness, but not as much as other older paddles. Passing it off to Ryan and Jermaine for their perspective.
What's up, Pickleball peeps? It's your boy Jermaine back at it again with another review. Today we have the Ace's Hearts. I played with it for over a week now. Man, compared to the paddle I'm using right now, which is the bread and butter Phil, this actually came in clutch. I want to say in the dinking area and the forehand area. My backhand, it was a little less than I really wanted it to be, but it still gave me what I wanted to. For baseline shots, I was hitting down the baseline. It really generated a lot of spin. It felt really comfortable in my hand. As soon as I really hit the ball, you could feel the impact, feel the release as well. So the grit on the paddle is very, very gritty. It was very easy to control the ball and put it anywhere I really wanted it to do. In the transition zone, trying to get the ball to reset itself was actually very, very easy. It just showed that it did have a little bit of pop to the paddle, so I did like it. It wasn't super poppy. That was a good plus for me as well. Most paddles that I see like this right now are super poppy, where you have to actually tone down. And with this paddle, you didn't have to tone down. It was very easy to just do what you needed to do in the kitchen area and get the right shot for yourself. In the kitchen shots, man, the dinks were very, very noticeable that I had to put more power into it a little bit. Because the paddle's a little bit softer on the softer end, it felt like me pushing the ball a little bit more just to get it in the right dink area, but not too much though. So that was very, very noticeable, but not too big of a deal that where I didn't like it or it caused me any issues or anything like that. The putaways, the paddle is kind of on the slight heavy side, but the putaways were very, very solid. The ball actually went somewhere. It wasn't like I hit the ball and it's just died or anything like that. It actually went somewhere. So I was very impressed with the power behind the overheads. when they overhead me and I had to make an adjustment, that was also pretty easy for me because the paddle was a little bit heavier. I like that. So it was easy for me to get in the position I needed to make a defensive move. It helped out a lot. So in comparison with my old paddle, the Filth, this has a lot more pop. I felt like it has a little bit more control. Slicing the ball was very easy, so I believe this was better at slicing than the Filth as well. Overall, to me, I think it's a better paddle than the Filth.
What's up, Pickleball community? I'm here with the Ace of Hearts paddle. I really like this paddle, and it's kind of atypical for me because I don't really like Gen 3 paddles, but I liked that it's not too powerful and I was able to control it well, which is usually the problem I have with Gen 3 paddles. I think this paddle felt a little bit softer than some of the other Gen 3 paddles, and I was able to really keep my drives low and fast while not hitting out with them. I also enjoyed the overall feel of the paddle. I usually play with a 16mm paddle, but this is a 14mm paddle, and it's in a way similar to the Spartus Olympus because it feels a little bit more forgiving than a regular 14mm paddle will feel. I think the sweet spot is dispersed well throughout the paddle, and I felt like it was hitting consistently. It was feeling consistent even when I would hit on different parts of the paddle face. My drives and serves were really strong with this paddle. I felt confident with the backhand because it has a longer handle too, so with the two-handed backhand I felt confident controlling the paddle and getting around the ball. It is elongated too, which is a shape that I like, but I do play the hybrid mostly. It did feel a little bit slow at the kitchen line. In the transition zone, it was still somewhat maneuverable since it's not super heavy. It is a little bit harder to reset with this paddle. You do have to take some power off because it does have a bit of that pop. It's not super poppy where it's really hard to manage, but I think it has enough for you to just really place the paddle in the correct spot and let the paddle do the work. You don't have to do too much on resets and on dinks as well. I really like this paddle towards the kitchen too. I would just prefer it to be a little bit faster. It's a little bit slow for me. I think due to the shape and the weight, the balance feels a little bit high. Feels like it's a little bit head heavy, I think. And to me, I like the feeling to be a little bit closer, the balance point to be a little bit closer to the center of the paddle face. When I transitioned to the kitchen, I felt pretty confident with my two-hand backhand dink and also just the forehand dink as well. This paddle has a really big face, so for the most part, I was able to get behind the ball, and my reach with it was very good, taking balls out of the air. I was confident just reaching out and placing the paddle and then letting the paddle do the work too, since it does have enough of that pop. My overheads, definitely I had to tune the swing differently because the length and weight of the paddle is different than what I'm used to, but I did feel like I had a lot of power. Overall, a really good Gen 3 paddle that I would play with if I chose to play with a Gen 3 paddle, but it's still not that ideal for me because I just don't really enjoy the weight distribution. I would prefer to have more control, and with the Gen 3 paddles overall, I don't feel like I have that control and I don't really enjoy that feel. So I think this paddle looks great as well. It's a very simplistic design, which I think is good for many paddles, is just to look very simple. It's not that easy to recognize from afar, but when you see it up close, you'll know what it is. In comparison also to my current paddle that I use, which is the Neonic Flow Swift, I feel like this paddle is more powerful with a little bit more pop, but not as easy to control. I really like the Neonic Flow Swift because it's easy for me to control and it feels very plush. I'm able to really grab the ball and shape my shots with it, but with this paddle, I felt like I had more drive rather than control with it. So whenever I would swing through, the ball would really have some pace on it, although I wouldn't be able to shape it quite as well as with the Neonic that I like to use. So that's a review for the Ace of Hearts paddle. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message us at PickleTechie or at the Pickleball Jedi. I'm happy to help you guys learn about paddles. Just if you want some more insight from what I personally feel about the different paddles, just let me know. You can always hit me up on Instagram. And if you want to keep learning more about paddles like these, follow PickleTechie, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and just stay tuned for more.